Hey my friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do one last video for the day, then I swear I'm done. If you haven't seen two other videos today, please check them out. I did the update this morning on, it was actually before the House passed the bill. We knew that they had enough votes to pass it. Told you a little something that was going on, and I'll add to that. But I also put out a video that I think everybody needs to check out because it could be a little happy sauce for the day. Doge has been working inside ATF for 2 weeks now, and tomorrow's their deadline. There's a bunch of good things they're looking to do within the ATF to decimate them. So check out that video, I'll float it above here. But I wanted to give everybody, because I've gotten a bunch of people reaching out, Jared, what was actually in the bill, what passed? I'm going to tell you, I'll show it to you, that way you understand it. And then I want to show you something else. Here on the screen is what actually passed in H.R. 1, the one big beautiful bill. This is a letdown from Republicans. They had an opportunity to do good, but they let us down. It's on page 454 and 455, section 70436, entitled Reduction of Transfer and Manufacturing Taxes for Certain Devices. It says A, transfer tax, section 5811A is amended to read as follows. A, rate. There shall be levied, collected, and paid on firearms transferred a tax at the rate of 1, $200 for each firearm transferred in the case of a machine gun or destructive device, and 2, $0 for any firearm transferred which is not described in paragraph 1. That includes suppressors because they are a firearm according to federal definitions. Then on page 455, B, making tax, section 5821A alpha is amended to read as follows. A, rate. There shall be levied, collected, and paid upon making a firearm a tax at the rate of 1, $200 for each firearm made in the case of a machine gun or destructive device, and 2, $0 for any firearm made which is not described in paragraph 1. C, conforming amendment. Section 4182 alpha is amended by adding at the end the following, quote, for purposes of the preceding sentence, any firearm described in section 5811 alpha 2 shall be deemed to be a firearm on which the tax provided by section 5811 has been paid. D, effective date. The amendments made by this section shall apply to calendar quarters beginning in more than 90 days after the date of enactment of this act. And that's it. That's all it wrote. So it's back to the original timeline of 90 days after this is signed, assuming it's going to be signed tomorrow by the president. 90 days after the end of the quarter or 90 days from tomorrow. We'll get clarification on that. But that's exactly what is in the bill. It will be law. Trump is going to sign it. So no tax on suppressors, short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, or any other weapons. Still have the registry, still the fingerprints, still the photos, still the long drawn out background check, which whatever, how long it takes. It took me 3 days to get a suppressor this week, and I know it took Johnny B 23 hours, so they're within 1 to 3 days. Now that the bill is passed, immediately, Gun Owners of America, that was part of the video from this morning, GOA said they're going to sue. Why are they going to sue? The way that the Senate worded the language, which is what passed, it took away the tax of the NFA. The NFA is dependent on the tax. I've discussed this a couple times. I even showed how Representative Andrew Clyde broke it down. I'll pin that above if you want more clarification. But they can't operate without each other. The registration needs a tax because it points to the tax for the serial number and vice versa. So GOA believes that it's ripe for destruction in the courts. Of course, it's going to take time to do it unless we can get one federal judge, maybe a judge in Texas, to stop it right away. We'll see. But I'm going to read you what GOA put out because now I can tell you the other groups that are suing with GOA, and I'm going to tell you about another big lawsuit that is being filed as well. So GOA's message they just put out was Gun Owners of America and Gun Owners Foundation, alongside allies Palmetto State Armory, the Firearms Regulatory Accountability Coalition, which is FRAC, Silencer Shop, and B&T USA, are announcing that we will file a federal lawsuit to dismantle the remaining provisions of the National Firearms Act after the one big beautiful bill is signed into law by President Trump and goes into effect. So the goes into effect thing, that's what we need to know, the date of that it actually goes into effect. And I know once it's signed, we'll get the actual date, because that's what these people do. They'll tell us the date. Now, what's going to be the crux of the lawsuit? It says GOA's One Big Beautiful lawsuit will ask the courts to strike down the National Firearm Act's absurd new $0 tax and registration scheme for certain suppressors and firearms with short barrels. In the 1930s, the Supreme Court only narrowly upheld the NFA solely as a tax statute, not as a firearms regulatory law. In Sonzinski versus United States 1937 case, the court ruled the NFA was permissible under Congress's taxing power. But once the tax is reduced to $0, the constitutional justification for the law collapses. So it should be, I mean, this is unconstitutional anyway, right? It should be easy to destroy. However, here we are. But I wanted to let you know that. I also wanted to tell you about this. This is the joint press release put out by the American Suppressor Association, the National Rifle Association, Firearms Policy Coalition, and Second Amendment Foundation. They said when President Trump signs the One Big Beautiful bill, which will eliminate the excise tax on suppressors, short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and AOWs, he will have delivered the biggest blow to the National Firearms Act since its passage nearly a century ago. We thank President Trump for his leadership and every member of Congress who fought for law-abiding gun owners throughout the reconciliation process. There were a few. By eliminating the excise tax on these NFA items, the One Big Beautiful bill will not only lift the heavy burden of an unconstitutional tax from the backs of hardworking Americans, it will also serve as a critical step towards our ultimate goal of dismantling the NFA once and for all. But there is much work yet to be done. While we will continue to fight for the total legislative elimination of the NFA, our organizations are proud to stand together in a new strategic lawsuit to challenge the constitutionality of the NFA in federal court. And real quick, a statement from Second Amendment Foundation. It says, with the passage of the One Big Beautiful bill, which eliminates the excise tax on silencers and short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and any other weapons or AOWs, the Second Amendment Foundation and its partners have issued a joint statement indicating their intention to challenge the remaining registration requirements for the affected arms under the National Firearms Act as unconstitutional. So that's where we're at, guys and gals. Trump wanted it on his desk by tomorrow, so he could sign it tomorrow. That was his idea, and I'm hearing that's still the plan. The schedule would allow him to sign it tomorrow. Did that artificially imposed timeline hurt us? Yes. Did it help us? Maybe, but then it hurt us after the Senate made changes and the House didn't have any balls to change it back. So it is what it is. We have found through this process that the Republicans have let us down again, and come the midterms, they're going to be asking a lot from us. We'll have to remember what they did. There have been a few that have been good with us along the way, but not enough. So now you know what's going on. Looks like two big lawsuits with two groups. Jared, why aren't they all working together? Usually it's strategy, going at it different ways, so that if the court says that's not good enough, the other one stands, and vice versa. So we'll have more information about that once the bill, again, becomes law, has to be signed, and then it has to go into effect. So I'll be waiting for that date tomorrow. But again, guys and gals, I hope you have a phenomenal Independence Day. Remember what the day is for, what it symbolizes. It's not the grill. It's not even hanging around with family. It's our victory for our own independence. And you have to ask yourself, what would George Washington think right now? Take care.